Alright, it's time to spill the beans and give away all the Skipjack Secrets. But before I do that, I'm going to ask one question. Are there actually any Skipjack Secrets left? If you look on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else, you'll find almost every technique on how to catch these guys. So I'd say there's probably no secrets left except for one secret, and I will tell you guys at the end of the video. Now, first things first, what is a skipjack? It is a carnivorous shad. These guys will eat other shad like threadfins and minnows. That's why you rarely catch these in a cast net. You actually have to fish for them with the rod and reel. They are also a very good catfish bait. All the catfishermen love to use this as bait. And the best thing about skipjacks is that they freeze really well. If you freeze a gizzard shad or a threadfin shad, they just go to mush when you unthaw them and fish with them. Skipjacks, they don't do that. Now I'm going to show you guys the easiest way to catch them, and then I'll just briefly talk about the other ways. And all I've got is little ones like this around here, so I'm not going to keep any of these. Now the easiest way to catch them is just using 2 crappie jigs in line. These are also called Marabou Jigs. And just pick your size. I usually put a bigger one on the bottom for weight and then a smaller one in line with it. You can put 2 of the same size on here. Now what I've found in the past, the color white usually catches more fish and chartreuse catches the bigger ones. But that's not always the case, and they make all kinds of different colors, so you just gotta throw what the fish want. And when they're in line like this, you want them to swim kind of like minnows. So you're not jigging them straight up and down like what you would do for crappie. You're casting it and reeling it in. And when you're reeling it in, you just kind of want to give it a little bit of a jerk. And it's really good to try to keep your rod tip down as well. And eventually, if there's skipjacks in the area, they'll grab it. It's good to use polarized glasses when you're doing this, because you can watch the skipjack as they swipe at your bait, so you know when they're hitting. And a couple just jumped right there. Cast where they're jumping as well. I just got a hit. There, another one. Really, really small ones here. It's a good sign when they're jumping like that. That means they're feeding. And there they are. I don't know if you guys see that swiping or not. There we go. Whoops. They come off the line real easy too. And they move a lot. So sometimes you're casting 50 times and not catching anything, and then all of a sudden you cast 3 or 4 times and get swipes every time, or even catch a fish on every cast when they're in the area. Catch them, all you need to do is put them on ice. Now something that Steve Douglas, the catfish dude, does is here take ice and mix it with water and salt to make a brine mix that will instantly freeze the fish when you put them in the cooler. that's probably the best way to freeze them really quick before you take them home to put into your freezer, or take them somewhere else to actually fish with. I used to fish for these guys with rooster tails when I was younger, and I just catch them and release them. Maybe I can use this as a thumbnail. You can also use Sabiki rigs for skipjacks, which is basically just a bunch of little flies, like, you know, 10 or 20 of them on the line. It's really hard to cast that out. You really have to have a boat and then throw it behind your boat and troll. And there's also the Foley spoon, which you put the Foley spoon on the bottom and then you put a sinker up here and cast like that. You get a lot more distance with a Foley spoon. The Foley spoon also lasts longer because it's a thicker hook, while these have thin hooks. You can see how thin that hook is, and I've bent it a couple of times already. The skipjack has a really tough mouth, so if you get a really big one, it can easily bend the hook and you end up losing it. Now, I tell you what, the absolute biggest catfish that I've seen caught have been caught off of bluegill. Skipjacks are good for the run-of-the-mill catfish, anywhere between, you know, 1 pound and 50 pounds. But the 80, 90, and 100 pounders that I've seen caught have been caught off of bluegill. And bluegill do freeze good as well. And I personally reeled in a 40-pound blue off a frozen whole bluegill. We had cast a bait out, and literally within 5-10 minutes, we had 2 fish on, and one of them was the 40-pounder. In fact, here's a clip of those 2 fish right now.
It might take a few to get some scent going down in there. Right now, they're solid blocks of ice. That old bluegill head. It's like a, who knows how long I've had that head frozen in the freezer. Come on, take it. Come on, come on, come on, bend her down. Oh.
Second fish on while we
that's
talk
a
that
nice
one.
blue cat. All right, here's Billy. He's got one.
Got a double going on here.
Got this one down here. That one took a whole bluegill.
I think he's got some weight to him.
Oh yeah, wow. Nice big old blue, man.
Wow. Ugh. Old fish. Big mouth old fish.
40 on the dot.
40-pound catfish.
Woo! Beautiful fish. All right.
There he goes. Almost. There we go.
There he goes.
Now let's see if I can get a better view of actually catching one. My top jig is a little messed up. I want to try to keep them in line so they're straight in the water. And I haven't perfected a tying method on them, so I'm not really going over how to tie these guys. And I've seen people put up to 4 of these on the line. They get tangled so easy when you do that. And you just want to keep them below the surface. It's the same technique you would use with a Sabiki rig too if you're trying to cast it out. Even a Foley spoon. Although a Foley spoon, you could literally just reel it in. Whoops. Oh, there we go. It's that easy. And they are jumping everywhere. There he goes. Now, if they're big enough, I usually keep maybe 10 to 20 of them. I try not to overdo it. And I just freeze them and put them in a freezer. I try to use fresh as much as possible, so I catch 4 or 5 fresh ones, and that's a fishing trip. And then I keep 10 or 20 in my freezer. Now I'm going to show you guys the best way to store skipjacks. I've seen people who use everything from aluminum foil to just dropping them in Ziploc bags to freeze your skipjacks with. And that way we'll catch fish. I actually caught an almost 30-pound blue on a piece of skipjack that was frozen and then unfroze and then frozen and then unfroze. That was wrapped up in aluminum foil that had frostbite on it. And the blue was hungry that day and ate that really bad piece of bait. However, whenever I vacuum seal skipjacks, I have actually caught flathead catfish with them.
Okay, that's actually a pretty good flathead.
Wow. Man.
Nice fish.
This is on frozen
6
skipjack.
months old skipjack.
Huge flathead. Wow. Here, got a line here. Got a couple of lines.
Look at the size of that head.
That is a massive fish. 32 pounds.
Is it 31?
31 pounds.
31-pound fish.
Nice.
Not bad.
Releasing the beast.
Nice cool water. It's 69 degrees where we're at, which is the river section, so it's of course colder than the main lake, which is why we're here. Oh, buddy. Oh. Oh no. He swam off.
All right, awesome. Vacuum sealing makes for a better bait. And it's really simple to do. The first thing is, obviously, you have to have a vacuum sealer and the special vacuum sealing bags. You cut them to the length of the skipjacks you are going to preserve and freeze. And then you use the vacuum sealer to seal one side. You put the skipjacks in it, and then you use the vacuum mode to vacuum all the air out and then seal the other side. It's really simple to do, and you can find vacuum sealers like this for $5 at thrift stores. I would take one of these bags with you and test it to make sure it works before you buy it. So let me show you guys this. We put it on here on the heat part. Clamp it down. Hit seal. And you take it, open it, and you can see I've already messed it up. I didn't have it in there far enough. I'll put it further in and do that again. And there's a nice seal. It turns it into a bag that you can put the skipjacks in. Got 4 skipjacks in here. I'm going to spread them out nice and even. Make sure the end of the bag is in this little cavity here, so that's where it pulls the suction. Back seal. There you go, ready for storage. All right, I hope you guys learned something from this video. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I was actually hoping I could catch a catfish at this spot, but it doesn't seem that they've come up river yet. It's kind of early in the year for them to do that, although we do have a steam plant running, which is warming up all the water, making all the fish go nuts. Just no catfish yet. But as always, I want to thank you for taking your time to watch my video. I really, really appreciate it. And if you like this video and would like to help my channel out, hit that thumbs up. I may have to catch a couple of these small ones and then go to another lake to see if I can catch a catfish. And if I do, that'll be in the next video. Thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you next time. Oh, and the biggest skipjack secret there is having friends tell you where the skipjacks are. Because skipjacks are so overfished and they move a lot, it's best to know somebody willing to tell you where they are at any given time. And if you have somebody tell you where the skipjacks are, you better be there that same day or the day after, because they could be gone in 3 days. So having a friend or somebody tell you where skipjacks are is a huge secret, which is what I rely on a lot to find skipjacks. Thank you guys again for watching.